Hey guys, welcome back. I'm here with another episode of Bending Time with Daryl Sweeney. And today's episode is called The Cages We Create. And it's inspired by a recent conversation I had with a gentleman who is launching a media company. And as is the case in a lot of conversations I have, ideas can start flowing really quickly. We get into possibility and pass forward really, really quickly. And in this case, he said something that was so smart. And I really acknowledge him for it. I acknowledge him for his restraint because if you are an idea person, if your mind is constantly spitting out possibility and things you could do, having a bit of discernment and a bit of restraint can come in handy. And one of the things he said to me was, he said, Daryl, I want to be careful that I don't create a content cage. And I think you could see by the look on my face that I wasn't familiar with that term, and I wasn't. And he asked me, I said, no, I've never heard of this phrase content cage. What is it? He said, it's when you make commitments or are responsible or obligated to create so much content that it puts you under pressure, it keeps you locked down, it prevents you from doing other things you need to do. And in his case, it wasn't just to grow the business he wanted to grow, but to live the life he wants to live. And as soon as he said that, it just made so much sense to me. And it made me start thinking about, where have I created cages in my life? This, what you're watching right now, is one of the places where if we went back in time to previous versions of my business, video content was a cage for me. I used to shoot this out of my home. This is not my home. I used to then take those recordings and do some editing, clean up some of the audio. I would then get them into YouTube and get them onto the various platforms. I would do all of the social content, connect them there. I would build a newsletter. Right? It created a cage. My desire to serve in this way, to share ideas and be useful to professionals, to leaders, to people just like you, um, doing it the way I was doing it created a cage for me. And it took a lot of time. And so I took a look at those systems, and now I have got a team behind me. I've got resources behind me. I've got ways of doing this that allow me to do what I do best and what I enjoy doing the most, and that is sharing these ideas with you. And then I was just having a conversation with Chandler, who does a lot of the editing on these videos. Right? I've got Cameron, who owns Louisville Podcast Studio, where this is being shot. I've got Felipe and the team at Servify Studios who support my entire business, everything from the school to content to systems and processes. Right? These pieces allow me to not make sharing these ideas with you a cage for me. So, what about you? Where's this showing up in your world? Where, when you look across the way you do business, the way you lead, the way you show up, where are the cages that are preventing you from showing up more powerfully? For some of us, it's email. Are you the kind of person that every time a new email comes in, it takes you away from what you're doing because you at least have to read it, make a decision if you're going to deal with it now or deal with it later? Right? Maybe it's a notifications cage. Right? Every time your phone buzzes or a new notification shows up, do you have to check that before moving on? Maybe it is a I'm here and my door is always open cage. Right? Are you the kind of person that you want to be so available for your people? You want to be so there for your team that you're constantly being interrupted and you find yourself getting the work that you're committed to get done. You're doing that at 6 o'clock and 7 o'clock and at 8 o'clock because you are so available for everybody else all through the day. See, we all have cages one way or the others. And the beautiful thing about our cages, the thing I want you to see is that we create those cages. Right? We create them. Now, it'd be really easy to blame, the business or the culture or the boss. But in so many ways, most of the cages that are keeping us stuck, we are responsible for creating them. And that's great news because that means we can also be responsible for creating something different. So, my invitation for you today is to look around, look at your processes, look at your systems. What are the cages that you've created that are slowing you down or keeping you stuck? And what are some tweaks? What are some changes? What are some new systems you can bring in? What are some approaches you can take that allows you to take the key that has always been in your hand, unlock the cage, and create something different. Experience life, experience work differently. I'd love to hear how you're stepping into that and what you find in doing just that. What are the cages keeping you stuck, keeping you small, slowing you down? And what are you going to do to change the way that's showing up for you? Hopefully, you found value in this video and this idea of the cages that we create. If there are people in your world, if there are people on your team, and you look, sometimes it's easier to spot other people's cages rather than our own. If you see other people and the cages that are keeping them stuck, share the video with them, share this idea with them. Right? Use this to create a powerful conversation about how they can evolve and how they can shift to be more productive or have a different experience of work. If you're not connected to me via email, I strongly encourage you to sign up for my email newsletter. I drop these emails usually once a week, not always, but usually once a week. And in these emails, I not only share videos like this, but I'm also sharing content that is coming out of the SCG Leadership Institute, the 6-month program I created for leaders who are looking to level up, who are looking to deepen their impact and results as leaders. They're going through this program, and we're starting to share some of the things coming out of it. So that will only be shared through the newsletter. And so it's a really easy way to make sure you have access to what's going on inside of that program. If there's anything I can do to support you in identifying these cages and freeing yourselves of them, reach out to me. Let's have a conversation. Thank you for joining me once again, and I'll see you soon.